Alright folks, welcome back to our interactive analysis of The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, where we get community support and try to figure out the deeper subtext and meaning of this game. I've got some good stuff for you guys today, some really cool Japanese myth, which I wasn't 100% familiar with, but seems to have a lot of connections to Zelda itself, which isn't surprising. You know, we're going to get a lot of influences from history and Japanese history. So let's go ahead and get this started. I was going to wait for some people to pile into the room before we went ahead and did all the Master Sword stuff, you know, because we're basically at that point now. But I know there's some Skulltulas that I need to get, at least in Lon Lon Ranch, so we're going to go back to Lon Lon Ranch at nighttime, which is coming up here in just a second. But some really cool things. In fact, there seems to be something about Link being tied directly to the sacred status of the Emperor of Japan, because I don't know if a lot of people know this, you know, as opposed to China, where you have a series of dynasties of, you know, imperial lines of ancestry that go through different ages and things like that. In Japan, you have one single line of ancestry for the Emperor, who gets tied all the way back to the sun god Amaterasu, which is why the Emperor is given such a dramatic status in Japan on that level of even divinity. I mean, that's not uncommon for emperors, I suppose, to be on the level of divinity, but you know, I think it's even more dramatic in Japan. In fact, there's even a kind of famous letter from the Emperor of Japan to the Emperor of China, or way early on when they were first establishing, you know, relations between the two countries, where the Emperor of Japan says, you know, here's a letter from the Emperor of the Rising Sun to the Emperor of the Setting Sun, you know, kind of implying that, like, hey, we're closer to the sun, you know, so we might have more claim over this over this particular, you know, aspect of divinity. So, you know, it's an important aspect, and it permeates a lot of Japanese culture. And oh, hey Ketzer, you're always the first one in. Yeah, so we're gonna be doing that, and I guess I'll get right to, where's this dang spider? Well, whatever, we're just gonna make a big old circle around this place. Something that's really interesting is that the sun god Amaterasu had a grandson, and that grandson was first in the long line of emperors, and he was given sacred objects as a representation of his divinity, and one of those was a legendary sword, a sacred mirror, which is a very important image in Shinto, and it has a lot to do with purification. You know, you want to purify your mirror. You want to keep your mirror clean, because that's how you reflect the universe. And also a sacred jewel, a magatama, which is a sort of yin-yang curved-looking kind of jewel that was very common as a sacred object back in early Japan. And you can still see represented a lot of the time in anime or anything that has to do with ancient Japanese culture. The magatama is a sacred jewel, which I think was interesting because, of course, Link collects the Master Sword. He collects the Mirror Shield, and not just this game, but in multiple games, the Mirror Shield makes a presence, you know, and is one of the last things in this game that Link can obtain before he achieves his status as the true hero of time and defeats Ganondorf, you know, and defeats the false emperor, right? Who might even be compared to another Japanese god like Susanoo, or you know, we'll have to figure that one out a bit later, because I'm not 100% on that one yet. Oh right, there's a little hole back here. Okay, let's get in this hole. But I do think there's something there, you know, because Link is supposed to be of divine origin, of the divinity of the three gods that founded Hyrule, right? Which at first I said had a sort of Platonic influence, right, from Greek mythology, or Greek history. And I still think that's true in a sort of conceptual way, but I think the imagery of the objects that he carries represents a sort of Japanese-style royalty, even though he's sort of a farm boy from the forest. You know, we know he's descended from the sun god, Furore. Furrow? Fair, I still don't know how to say it. Really, the Magatama is important in Tears of the Kingdom. You see, I've got to play these games, but I know it's going to take a huge chunk of my time out. Let's see what these cows have to say. I don't. There it is. That's the one. I always forget the song for the cows. Worst case scenario, we're gonna get some extra milk. What a nice song. It reminds me of the pasture. I guess they all just say the same thing, you know? They're all just looking for milk. Though, I think to actually speak to them, I need the Mask of Truth. And maybe we can go find the mailman now. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if he's kicking around Hyrule somewhere. But I think we should go ahead and go get the Ocarina of Time itself right now, since that's the next thing that we have to do here. I really thought there were more spiders here. I think there's one in the farm itself, so let's check it out. I'm not trying to get all the golden Skulltulas, but I at least want to get enough, you know, to get the really big wallet and some of the other things. There's also another legendary sword that I don't know if it's Amaterasu or another character that pulls this out. It might have even been Susanoo, Susanoo's sort of the dark figure compared to Amaterasu, and I think it's where you get a lot of these dual-natured characters like Sora and Riku from Kingdom Hearts, or Naruto and Sasuke from Naruto. You know, there seems to be, and multiple other stories from Japan, you get a character that's seemingly kind of troublesome and dark, and a character that, you know, is bright and sort of shines, you know, as a exemplar of society or something. And where's this spider? It's driving me nuts. I can hear him, but I can't see him. There he is. I see him. He's up there on the window. But, it's called the 10 Hands sword, you know, which is a very large sword, which might even be the root of the Bigoron sword that we see in this game, too. There it is. Alright, enough of that. Let's go to Hyrule. But a lot of this is coming together, you know? There's a lot of symbolism that I don't think has been approached, even by some of the larger lore videos that you see on YouTube. So, it's really cool that after what, like, gosh, we're coming up on 30 years this game has been out, and, you know, there's still stuff about it that we really don't understand. Alright, here it is, guys. The prophetic dream comes true right here. Oh, Ketzer says if I wear the bunny mask, it stops the skull kids, or the skeletons from spawning. I did not know that either. I really thought there was no point to wearing it, other than to look like a bunny rabbit. I love how she just yeets it like that. Like, she could have broken that thing. What if it, like, smashed against the castle wall? I don't know, maybe she's got a good arm. You lost her. There's like 3 places she could have gone. Be creative, Ganondorf. You over there, little kid. He doesn't even realize. He has no idea who he is. You're assuming a lot about Link without him saying anything. See, there's big ego there. He doesn't kill Link. He just wants to show him, you know, that he can't do anything to stop him. All ego, no substance. And that's really, you know, about all we know about him, is that he wants to rule. There's I think there's some good lore videos about Ganondorf himself, you know. We know he's a thief from the Gerudo village, and the Gerudo village seems to be this sort of impoverished and poor place, right? You know, and you know, they're foreigners to the Hyrulean family and probably not treated with as much respect as the nice, you know, the nice royal people of this city. So he might have good reason, you know. He might have grown up in a sort of situation of great poverty, which can lead to a desire for power, right? I mean, I think anyone who's grown up in any kind of poverty has dreamt of, you know, wealth and reputation and things like that that seem unattainable. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's just, I think it's because he's part pig. Oh wait, we're not going to Hyrule Castle. But did we get Din's Fire? I think we did. And we got Pharaoh's Wind? Yeah, we did. So we're fine. We have everything we need. Let's go ahead and go see the mailman. We're not going to pull the sword out just yet. We're going to go see the mailman. Do I have the mask? Yeah, I have it. I have it. Well, I suppose we can do that another time. It's not like I can't come back and be a kid. We'll come back to it. And we'll spend maybe an episode, or maybe I'll just release a video where we go talk to all the little Mask of Truth, or the stones of the eyeball stones, and see what they have to say. Oh, cool. I do love how they redid the temple, except that thing over there kind of ruins it. I wish those weren't in the game. Like, come on, dude, come on. Come on. And there we have the symbol of light. It's hard to say what that is, but it does seem to look like some radiations going outward from a center. And these orbs may be representing a sort of balance, like an inverted Triforce almost, is what it looks like to me. Yeah, you do have to get past, I think, maybe the first or second dungeon before you can come back to be a child. Ye who owns 3 spiritual stones, stand with the Ocarina of Time and play the Song of Time. Alright, let's do this. Oh, I didn't get the Ocarina. It's like in the Hyrulean sewers now. like where'd it go? Yeah, let's go back and get that. Let's go back and get that. I don't think I can wear the masks, though, as an adult, right? I don't think that I can. Adults don't wear masks, maybe? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there's something symbolic there. Who knows? You know, there's one thing I've yet to go over, and that's interviews with Shigeru Miyamoto and the developers of the game, which is, I don't know when I'm going to get around to that. It might be this week. It might be sometime next week. Hard to say. I still haven't decided if I'm going to be doing these streams on my days off, you know, because I tend to do them before I go to work, and then I use my days off to work on everything else that I have going on in my life. Stink, can you hear me? It's Zelda. Take a bath. So this seems to be a message that she, like, inscribed into the ocarina itself. Okay, let's try not to mess this up. Oh, cool. Thanks, Ketzer. I'm glad you watched the streams. It's going to take a while before they catch on, and, you know, I could stream this to Twitch and stuff as well. I really don't know what I'm... This is all a new experiment for me, you know? I'm not trying to get a whole lot of views off these. I was going to do this research anyway. I just thought, why not live stream it to have some community interaction? It's really I'm working on this big lore video at the end, and I don't know, it might take me like a month to produce. Let's hope not. Let's hope I can get it done in a reasonable amount of time. But I'm hoping to make something that's more in-depth and more well put together than anything I've ever made. And I really want to get to this game's depth in full. I want to see the roots. I know they're there. I know they're there. I don't know where they are, but they're here, you know, and I think it's fairly untapped. Because even the really good videos I've seen on Zelda lore seem to leave some things out, or I don't know what it is, maybe make some jumps and assumptions that I wouldn't necessarily make, you know. I want to be pinpoint accurate with this, but also show the true meaning of what this game is trying to say. Because a lot of times it escapes even the developers. You know, Socrates made a great point that he went and talked to all the poets of the land one time to see if they knew where their great poetry came from. And he found that even though they knew their poetry was good, they couldn't tell him why. Right? I think it comes from this more untapped source. You know, so I want to get into those psychoanalytical roots of this series and really show what it's made of. I mean, just Link carrying these symbols like the sword and the mirror and the gems, you know, these magatamas, even the forest stone kind of looks like a magatama if you've ever seen one. They must be, you know, and also the fact that these games keep, you know, they have a lineage now, one after another, and when a myth evolves like that, it tends to escape the creator's hands and become something on its own, you know. Link and Zelda and Ganondorf, these are cultural objects now. They no longer belong to the developers, you know, but to the people that intake the myth itself. And eventually those developers will die and someone else will have to pick up the banner, you know, and carry the story onward, and it'll keep evolving, and those roots will show themselves even more clearly, I think. Like someday Zelda will be 100 years old. What will it be then? What kind of myth are we looking at? You know, Link will have lived longer than any one person. In a way, you might say he's more real. This is something Carl Jung thought, that the mythic characters like Zeus, you know, Jesus, and various others, like, they were more real sometimes than people. They lasted longer. They had more presence in the consciousness of humanity. You know, there's something to that. There's something to it. Hell yeah. You see that sort of mandala too, you know, with Link surrounded by the spiritual stones, standing in the center of the Triforce, you know, the center of all the virtues and experiences of life. There's a mandala there. Ah, Ganondorf, you snuck in. You snuck in when no one was looking. Ugh. Stink! Wake up, Stink! The chosen one. Oh, I thought that was Navi. No, it's Ra-Ra-Ra-Ru. So here we are, the sacred realm. You know, we can compare this to Plato's realm of perfect forms. This is a place where it doesn't exist really anywhere. It's more of an exemplar of virtues themselves. I mean, look at this place. It's nothing but this pedestal this very sacred mandala that exists somewhere unknown, somewhere separated from the physicality of the real world. Ages ago, we ancient sages built the Temple of Time to protect the entrance to the sacred realm. You know, and you have to enter through a temple, and there's these, I forget what they're called, but you have them in Japan. They're these gates, these very large gates, and you can see them in a lot of Japanese myth. Oh, hey, Fragments. And these gates represent sort of, not necessarily doorways, but centers of energy that can connect you to the realm of the kami, to the divine realm, right? You know, so a temple is like that gate, and here we have the divine realm, you know, where we see more of this Platonic stuff and get away kind of from Japanese myth. The Temple of Light, situated in the very center of the sacred realm, is the last stronghold against Ganondorf's evil forces. The Master Sword, the evil-destroying sword that you pulled from the pedestal of time, was the final key to the sacred realm. And of course, we're going to have to talk about King Arthur and Excalibur and all that. I think there's a small amount of symbolism there, but I really don't think the King Arthur story has a whole lot to do with this story. It's where the spirit of the hero exists, right, Fragments? So this is where Link, probably the transcendental Link that sits, you know, inside of every main character of every Zelda game, right? This is where he exists in this realm of perfect forms. You could say he's the perfect Link of perfect virtue. Stink! Don't be alarmed, look at yourself. We've given you a bath. And some sick-ass tights. Look, Stink, you're grown up. The Master Sword is a sacred blade that evil ones may never touch. Another thing, there's another statement by Socrates, you know. He said it at his trial for his death, where he was like, an evil spirit is unable to affect a pure spirit. Not because the pure spirit is stronger, just by nature of their existences, that they can't interact with each other necessarily. Only one worthy of the title of Hero of Time can pull it from the pedestal of time. However, you were too young to be the Hero of Time. Therefore, your spirit was sealed here for 7 years, and now that you are old enough, the time has come for you to awaken as the Hero of Time. Now that's interesting, because he wasn't old enough, right? But, sitting still for 7 years in a temple somehow made him old enough? I think there's a bigger story here. No, I know, yeah, Jockey or Malice, and Jockey sounds familiar. Tell me, Fragments, explain Jockey to me. I forget, is that the realm in Shinto, the Dark Realm? Or it might be something else entirely. Yeah, I think they did just like the icon of the sword in the stone. You know, it is a very dramatic symbol. You know, and it was, because I think in the story of King Arthur, it was sort of just a plot by Merlin to get control, I think, of the king. You know, so it was more the plot of a crafty demon. He's more like Ganondorf in some ways. And if people you don't know, Merlin's the son of like the devil and a priest or something. You know, he's a weird conception. Namely, the Chamber of Sages. But there is still hope. The power of the sages remains. When the power of all sages is awakened, the sages' seals will contain all the evil power in the void of the realm. In the void of the realm? So is the realm itself a void? Does the Temple of Light just sit in a void of the sacred realm? Your power to fight together with the sages makes you the Hero of Time. Well, that's interesting. So it's his connection to the sages which gives him the title itself. and chosen by the Master Sword, which we all know now is Fi from Skyward Sword. Now, I think it's interesting that Link is simply given this medallion at the start. You know, it's just sort of to say, hey, you made it to adulthood. Here's your token of approval, right? I mean, I'm sure there's more symbolism to it than that, but he is the hero. He is the representation of the light. You know, you could say, we were talking about that grandson of Amaterasu, whose name was, I have it right here because I can't remember it. It is Ninigi no Mikoto, who was born into this world with the power of light, with the power of the divine sun. Oh no, not before we talk to Sheik. That makes sense. In a lot of creation stories, fragments, you know, reality is crafted, of course, on the void. And the void isn't necessarily just void as in nothingness, you know. The void tends to represent just formlessness. Yeah, I heard that the light temple was cut. The light temple was cut, and I don't know if they did that for space or time. Anyway, we should read this. This is probably really important. When evil rules all, an awakening voice from the sacred realm will call those destined to be sages, who dwell in the 5 temples. One in a deep forest, one on a high mountain, one under a vast lake, one within the house of the dead, and one inside a goddess of the sand. Inside a goddess of the sand. That's interesting. Together with the hero of time, the awakened ones will bind the evil and return the light of peace to the world. The legend passed down by her people. His people? Their people. The Sheik. I still don't know Sheik's gender. I mean, I guess it's just Zelda, you know, or maybe it's a mishmash. I don't know. I don't think I ever thought about it as a kid, really. I mean, Zelda was Sheik and Sheik was Zelda. As I see you standing there holding the mythical Master Sword, you really do look like the legendary hero of time. If you believe the legend, you have no choice. You must look for the 5 temples and awaken the 5 sages. One sage is waiting for the time of awakening in the forest temple. The sage is a girl, I'm sure you know. Because of the evil power in the temple, she cannot hear the awakening call from the sacred realm. Unfortunately, equipped as you currently are, you cannot even enter the temple. But if you believe what I am saying, you should head to Kakariko Village. Do you understand, Stink? Alrighty. Let's just talk to Sheik one more time, make sure we don't have any dialogue. To save the forest girl, you need another item. Head to Kakariko Village. Alright. Whew. I need a drink of water. Definitely something there, though. I think it's interesting that the sages don't know they're sages. In a way, it's Link's task to return divinity to those who are destined to be divine. You know, he spreads the divinity. Or at least awakens it. He's the nexus that, you know, turns the mundane into the perfect, turns the normal into the sacred. Sheik is awesome, and when they announced that Sheik was going to be in Super Smash Bros. Melee, I basically peed my pants. I was like, wait, we can play as Sheik finally? Yeah, freaking sweet, and Sheik was like one of my favorite characters to play. Absolutely. You know, I always forget to do this, but I think I should head to the castle just to take a look at what's going on over there. Ah! Yeah, that castle looks like shit. Oh, almost like Sheik is a different personality. I'm going to read that out fragments. In the manga, it is implied that Zelda is put to sleep in Sheik, and that's why Ganondorf cannot find her. Because Sheik might know that Zelda is within him, but maybe Zelda doesn't know that she's within Sheik. And if that's true, there's some pretty deep symbolism there. And you get this from some of Carl Jung's. I'd have to go back and find my notes on it because I have them somewhere. But he says that the male sleeps in the female, and the female sleeps in the male, right? This is where we get a lot of repressions, you know. Take the modern day example of men who are afraid to be close to each other. This is, I don't know if this is 100%, this is not just distinctly an American point of view, right? But I think a lot of Western culture, after the sexual repressions we had of early religion, is that, you know, men in general are afraid to be close to each other, are afraid to embrace a sort of more feminine approach to interacting with each other. And, you know, it's a repression of that more feminine aspect in the male, which fortunately for me is something I escaped, but not entirely. Not entirely. I can't say that, like, I'm not affected by it either, right? All right. Yeah, we gotta go get the hook shot. That's the first order of business. Or is it the horse? Is that the first order of business? I think that's the first order of business, actually. Yeah, let's go get the horse. Yeah. I am too. I'm glad there's more gender fluid people these days. You know, it's helping society accept itself a little bit more. But like anything, self-acceptance a lot of the times comes with a lot of struggle. No, I don't want it to be nighttime. No, not yet, not yet. I'm trying to get in. Self-acceptance comes with a lot of struggle, and we're having a, you know, there's a lot of turmoil in society about it, you know. Even in the circles that I run in, you know, I have people I interact with who have struggles with it all the time. And I live in a pretty progressive place too. You know, so if it's bad here, I can imagine it's pretty bad in other states, and especially when I was growing up, you know, we had no gender fluidity. Like, you were a man, you were supposed to be a man, you know, and that you got to be a manly man. Like, I didn't join the football team in my school, and that was like a sin. Like, there weren't very many people in that school, but they were like, "You didn't join the football team? Like, are you okay?" You know, I have long hair too. They're like, "You have long hair." I'm like, Are you all? They were like, "Are you all right?" Like, people were genuinely concerned about me, and I was like, "No, I mean, just as, you know, I was like, just as the stuff I'm into, you know, right?" Anyway, oh, a visitor. It's been a long time since we had a visitor here. Where did you come from? I just grew up, you know. It's being an adult. Since Ganondorf came, people in the castle town have gone. Places have been ruined, and monsters are wandering everywhere. Mr. Ingo is just using the ranch to gain Ganon's favor. Everyone seems to be turning evil. But Dad, he was kicked out of the ranch by Mr. Ingo. If I disobey Mr. Ingo, he will treat the horses badly. So there's nothing I can do. Oh, well, she's pretty brave then, you know, staying where she is in the face of evil to give relief to the less fortunate. That's a pretty noble aspect, honestly, I think. But let's just write that down. I mean, we all know it, right? But I'm gonna write that down. Ingo's greed. Everyone is turning evil. Malin. All right. Little brief notes there I need to take. Controlled chaos. Ah, says Fragments and Fractals. So, lawful evil is Ganondorf's game. Anyway, let's get our horse. There are some people in Kakariko spreading rumors that I cheated Talon out of the ranch, but don't be ridiculous. That guy Talon was weak. I, the hard-working Ingo, poured so much energy into this place. I don't want any strangers like you saying anything bad about me. Listen, the great Ganondorf recognized... It's hard for me not to see comparisons to, like, the current administration. in our country right now. Of these, like, sycophantic individuals like Ingo. It's just, the parallels are too much, but I'm trying not to get political. I will raise a fine horse and win recognition from the great Ganondorf. Say, young man, do you want to ride one of my fine horses? I don't need, I know how to ride a horse, Ingo. Yeah, Ingo's envy is, I mean, that's the prime feature of the sycophant, you know? They're envious of the real power. You know, that envy is what drives them, you know, towards the sword. It's really just, it's more craving for power. You know, it's concentration of the ego. I think that's ultimately what you get out of characters like this and what Ganondorf probably inspires in others. I do like them putting his face on these little medallions on the gate is a nice touch. Huh. Guess I'm done. I think I have to do it one more time. I think there's a little process I have to do here. No, I know how to do it. Okay, let's try it again. I probably should have earned my rubies back, but that's okay. Maybe I don't have enough rupees. Let's get some rupees. Let's get some rupees going before we race Ingo. Oh, I guess I just get the 1 rupee? Well, that's fine. That's fine. Yeah, now he wants to race. I love beating Ingo at the race. It's my favorite. You gotta kind of edge him out right here. Yeah. Slow and steady. See, he just smacks his horse over and over again. He's just like, go faster. He doesn't get no tact, no subtlety with this guy. Just pure power, anger, and ego. And Ingo. Ego. Ego, Ingo. You're right, Fragments, you have a point, yeah. Like, what would Ganondorf have done if presented with this horse? Like, yeah, he has a phantom horse, you know? Which is probably crazy strong and has magical powers or something. Like, he doesn't need this horse. Sweet. You'll never let me leave the ranch. What am I gonna starve here? I'll eat your chickens, dude. And then I'll start eating the horses too. I can live a long time on this ranch. Alright, let's get out of here. Woo! Hell yeah. Jump the shark, Link. Jump the shark. I don't know. Link without a horse is just such a strange thing to me, you know? That's just part of the regalia. I know he doesn't have a horse in every game. I think Skyward Sword, he doesn't have a horse in that one either. He just has his bird. But that was like Proto-Link. That was Link before we figured out who he was. Oh, there's the ghosts. There's the ghosts. They always take forever to get. You know, they basically give you the first 3 bottles, but that last bottle is a doozy. Yeah, because you have a connection with Epona, you know. I think he notices that you're friends with Malin, and then you learn the song, which reminds the cows of the pasture, right? So it's a song that's often in the pasture, and that it's like Malin gave you the happy energy. Everything's turning evil, but Malin gave you a piece of that like goodness, and you were able to bring that back, and the horse recognizes you for it. Even though you just run around slapping him, but you don't slap the horses as much as Ingo, which I think is the point. All right, I need to buy a shield at some point. Someday, I will purchase a shield. Or maybe I'll just wait till, you know, no, I should get a shield before we get to the... before we get to, the Forest Temple. And the grass is a little browner now, you know, if you notice, like this town, it looks dilapidated. It doesn't look as lively. The world is just kind of darker. It's not the dark world per se, but everything is darker. Everything is more bleak, you know, which in a way is growing up. But I think part of Link's, I mean, if you want to look at the overall narrative, you know, part of Link's journey is having that, using that childlike nature to bring the light back into adulthood after things have gotten so dark, you know, so crazy. I did not plant any of my beans, so that's kind of sad, but you know, what can you do? I don't know if I need to live stream every single thing we do. I'll probably beat the game and then maybe do a little bit more exploration on my own, but... so if that lady asks you about cuckoos, you should listen to her. No, I've already asked her and talked to her about her cuckoos. Nobody believes what I've been telling them these past 7 years. Well, what have you been telling them? Please don't tease my cuckoos. Ha! What cuckoos? This lady ain't got no cuckoos left. All right. Maybe we can go see the Song of Storms feller over here. Oh yeah, look at him. He's going nuts. I'll never forget what happened on that day 7 years ago, even though it hasn't happened yet. You know, I had a few thoughts about this, actually, since we talked about the time paradox with this guy. But let's pull out the ocarina and learn his song first. That reminds me of that time 7 years ago. Back then, a mean kid came here and played a strange song. It messed up the windmill. Absolutely one of my favorite songs in this game. But, you know, something about real physics right now, the standard model of the universe, is that things can actually travel back in time on the quantum level, right? You're not going to send, like, you know, a photo back in time or anything like that. Well, maybe in a roundabout way you could, I guess, but nothing that could have a real effect on the causality of time. Anyway, with the current model of time, all of time is already complete. It's all done. It's all already happened, which implies any loops that are involved as well, right? And that's kind of a solution to this paradox, is that maybe it was already implied that Link was going to go back and teach the song anyway. Like, that happened in the total progress of time, which kind of kills the paradox, right? That, like, Link was always going to go back and teach him that song. I don't know if it kills it completely, you know, because there still has to be a sort of first point. But I think that time can have loops in it. I think loops are permitted. Let's go get the shield before we do anything. I think I want to go grab that, actually. Yeah, see, it did happen. We just don't know it yet, right? It's the knowledge of the future that we don't have. Because for Link, that is the future. It is a future time. I don't know if it solves the paradox, but it gets closer to it, at least. It gets closer. Oh, go. Hey, maybe I can sell this guy some milk. Let's, No, that's not what I'm trying to do. Where's my little pointer? Here we go. Let's sell this fella some milk. Hey, buddy. Oh, wait. I think I can only sell him some actual things. I don't think I can sell him milk. I don't think I can sell him milk. Only open during the day. Okay. Okay. Wait. No? I'm gonna have to look it up. I forget the sun song. But, okay, okay. There we go. There we go. It's daytime now. It's still got its good little music here. Cuckoos are very good at getting lazy. Late risers out of bed. Haven't you heard of them before? Ah, yeah, I guess we should begin this. This is the beginning of the Begoron Sword quest. Folding, oh yeah, you know, we still haven't gotten to the time travel stuff on Kingdom Hearts. I really don't know anything about it. So I'm like, Kingdom Hearts is already confusing enough. And then we're gonna layer some time travel on top of that. That sounds like a whole lot of fun. Woo! Look how tiny that shield is. Hey buddy, this thing's never gonna work. Oh, it looks so good. And I mean, for anyone who doesn't know, you know, we have the bird on there that you get from Skyward Sword. And there's also the downward triangle, almost like the missing piece of the Triforce, right? Which is something that we get out of A Link Between Worlds, one of the real new game. Well, I guess it's not real new anymore. I'm kind of behind the times, I suppose. What, you mean the Song of Storms? I mean, we gotta look at it like if I really think about it, if I really think about the Song of Storms, where did it come from originally? You know, when in the timeline did it come into existence, right? Well, the only place like it comes into existence is when Link learns it. But he must have taught it at some point. I think it's over here, actually. I think the one I'm looking for is maybe this one. I didn't know that I could get this shield for free in the graveyard. Or maybe I did know at some point, but then I forgot. Oh no, do I have the rupees? Oh, how much is this guy gonna charge me? No, he's not gonna charge me anything. We're just going on a race. I didn't even do the Dompe thing in the past. I've missed so much, and there's definitely going to be an episode or so where we do some backtracking, you know, finish up some of this other stuff. But I really wanted to get the Master Sword found. I wanted to do that today, if nothing else, even if we don't do the Forest Temple. Woo. Oh! No, 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 no. No. You can get hit by a few flames. Sorry, chat. I can't read the chat while I'm doing this. I'll get to it. I'll get to it. At a certain point, I'm going to get an overlay that lays the chat over the screen in a very subtle way. I don't want it to be a big block, you know. I don't want a big, like, user interface. I want the focus to be on the game, but I also want the comments to appear on the screen in some form or another, so that everyone can see them. Hey, young man, you were very quick to keep up with me. I live here now, so come back again sometime. I'll give you something cool. Oh, I didn't notice. I'm gonna have to listen to the Kakariko Village. I didn't know the two songs were different. You know, and I think it's interesting too. Again, the items that adult Link gets are more mechanical, complex in nature. You know, you're not going to find a hookshot in a forest village. A hookshot's a complex mechanical thing, right? The metal hammer requires forging. All of the items that Link gets as an adult that I can think of offhand require more technology. You know, so not only are we seeing a growing up of the character himself, but we're seeing a growing up of the world. A world that's less based on nature and more based on technology. Wait, what? There it is. And I'm gonna have to look more into Shinto myth, because I think you missed it, Fragments, when we were talking about how there's a certain character in Japanese myth called, the name, I have it on my phone here, hold on. It's Ninigi no Mikoto, who's the grandson of Amaterasu, who carries a sacred mirror, a sacred sword, and some sacred gems as well, or a sacred gem, right? Which, I mean, it just reminds me so much of Link. I think it has to be, and it's such an important character in Japanese Shinto myth, that I think it has to be at least indirectly tied to the nature of Link, because these items are what give that character his divinity and his connection to the gods, you know, as a mortal, almost mortal, I guess maybe semi-mortal, you know, demigod, that led to, like, the development of humans and emperors and things like that. I think there's definitely a connection there. But yeah, a lot of the analysis I'm going to be doing is going to take place off screen when, you know, I'm going to do things like compare the different songs, compare all the different messages. You know, I'll probably spend a lot of time on the Zelda wiki pages and things like that, just trying to put this all together. All right, so we have the hookshot, folks, which is going to let us go to the forest, which is going to be kind of crazy. It was so startling to me. The way they put this game together is so cool, because it was so startling to go back to the forest to find it full of monsters. Good lord, do I need some water. I'm getting a dry mouth. Here it comes. You know, when I started doing these streams, I was like, this will be fun. I'm not going to talk as much. I really thought I'd have long periods of silence, but I just tend to not shut up the entire time. And I used to think that might just be like the Mario special fire flower that I like to smoke, but I think it's just my personality. Like, I just don't shut up. I just never shut. You know, I try to be a good listener to people as well, but But yeah, the forest, even this is the source of life for Hyrule, and I mean, you can say it's still a source of life. There's still lots of life in it, but it's corrupt life, you know. Everything is turning evil, like Malin said. Even the inner child, which if we were looking at the psychology of this world, this place kind of represents the Garden of Eden, the inner child, the inner light. Even this place has become corrupted, which means that it needs to be transitioned into something new. It needs to be transitioned into something that can overcome what it used to be and what it is now. Which I think, you know, like most stories, this is a story's about transcendence, about transcending a situation and creating a new generation. I imagine Japan felt like a kind of horrible place during World War II. You know, you went from a place of, oh, we gotta go visit the Deku Tree. I always come back and see him. I like to come back and see him just because, you know, pay my homages, just kind of a personal thing. But I think when you're viewing Japanese media in general, it's always important to think about World War II and the effect that it had on the society. You know, it affected every society dramatically. I don't think anyone really escaped it. But, you know, they're the ones who got the bomb. And that left a pretty big emotional and literal scar on the society. Oh, and look, there's just little monsters, but yeah. Hey, Mr. Deku Tree. Sorry we killed you. Sorry we killed you. Oh, it makes me so sad, though. I remember, though, when he died as a kid, you know, like, this game had the effect. I was just the right age for this to work on me, man. I swear. You know, because I felt like I was the kid Link's age when I first played this, and seeing that Deku Tree die, I felt like I grew up a little bit, you know? Like, just a teensy bit. Just a teensy bit, but it makes you grow up just a tad. I can't wear my masks, can I? I don't think that's allowed. Yeah, I can't even wear the masks, so I couldn't talk to the Stones of Truth anyway. Or the whatever you call them. I always forget what they're called. And I know there's something down there you can do with some Skull Kids. I don't know if I have enough songs to pull it off, though. Yeah, 7 years is a long time, you know? I mean, that's like 2 presidential terms, basically. That's enough time to change society, you know? Your 2 terms are up, Ganondorf, okay? Them's the rules. Someone else has got to be in charge now. Oh, here he is. Grumple Stillskin over here. Who do you think you are? That Kakiri-like clothing won't fool me. Which is funny because, you know, we know from Skyward Sword this is actually the clothing of the Sky People. But the game doesn't know that yet. You know, this is way before then. I promised Saria I would never let anybody through here. If you want to see her that bad, I'm going to need some proof that you're really a friend of hers. Something you could only have heard from her. Not that she'd ever be friends with a grown-up. Yeah, they just don't, I mean, they don't know about, no one knows. Link doesn't even know he's not a Kakiri yet. He just knows that he's got this big-ass body now. You're right. The Kakiri are hiding from the curse. I think they're either stuck in their houses or, and we need to go back and talk to them too. So maybe we'll make a trip back to the village real quick and talk to the Kakiri people. Oh, that's the wrong song. Ah! I just cut his head off. That would be horrible. Where is it? I know all these songs, but with these controls, I don't. You know, which, I mean, that might be symbolic in a way to the Kakiri hiding from the curse. You know, the inner child hiding from the darkness. I mean, when we repress something, it's to protect that inner light. Because ultimately, you need that to survive, right? You need that inner light to proceed. There we go. No. Well, I think it's this way. I might be wrong. Ah. Well, let's go talk to the children. Let's go talk to the children real quick. Okay, I'll talk to Mito again, too. Well, might as well get this Kakiri treasure while I'm here. He's just watching me. He's like, yeah, take whatever you want. Why is that fairy following you around? You're not one of us. I see. You didn't have any problems entering the forest, mister. Did the meanies out there bother you that much? Before the great Deku Tree died, you wouldn't see things like that around here. Since it's dangerous outside, I always stay inside my house, but I'm bored to death. Where has Mito gone during such an emergency? An emergency? I mean, it's not like this just happened. An evil wind is blowing from the forest temple. Saria left saying, I have to do something about it. So the children are all aware, the Kokiri. The Kokiri are aware that there is a forest temple, which I think is pretty cool. Though I guess the Gorons are aware of the fire temple, you know, and the Zora's aware of the water temple, so it's not that dramatic. And this is Saria's house. Have you ever met a boy named Stink? That boy did something wrong to it. Only Saria defended Stink until she left. Maybe we misunderstood. Oh wow. So yeah, they you know, when he left the village, they started talking shit about him. You know, he became kind of a cast out. Haven't I seen you somewhere before, mister? You know, and notice the thing. They stopped calling him boy. I don't think the Kokiri ever called him boy, but now the Kokiri are calling him mister. Oh, and yeah, we'll head to the store just to kind of check it out. Okay, well, this guy doesn't have anything new to say. Yeah, and you know, I wonder if Evil Wind is a sort of opposing statement to Kamikaze, you know, because Kamikaze is Divine Wind, which is you know, it represents many things, not just like we were talking about, not just planes crashing, but also, you know, tsunamis. In fact, I heard a little bit of history about the Divine Wind, that when the Mongols were invading Japan, a great divine wind blew a tsunami which wiped out the entire fleet. And that, I mean, whether that's true or not, the myth is more important, because that likely had a dramatic effect on how, you know, they viewed that sort of thing. When I see you, I don't know why, but I remember him. Yeah. You know, almost like he's even just a little somber and misses Link just a little bit. Though that might just I might just be putting that on him. And then we got over here, and was it this way? I'm so terrible. Hey, but you know what? I'm an adult now. You know, I'm not a Kokiri. I'm lost in the Lost Woods. Okay, we got this. And it was forward. You'd think I'd never done this before. Okay, and then we go this way. Pretty sure that's it. Mister? Yeah, I don't like being called Mister either, because, like, if a child does it, you're like, oh, I'm old. And if an adult does it, it's almost a little demeaning. Like, Mister. I've never had an adult call me Mister. Okay, and these guys, I forget what they're called. Moblins, maybe? But these are Ganondorf's goons. You know, these are definitely Ganondorf's goons, and they're trying to encroach on the castle. Or on the temple. You don't see any of them in the temple, right? Only on the way to the temple, which means Saria is indeed protecting it. She's doing a great job. However she's doing it. I don't think you can attack them from the front, can you? Oh, shoot! Ah! These guys are ripped. Look at those abs. but no peripheral vision, apparently. Haha! Oh, right. I need the long shot. Come on. Get closer. Just a little bit closer. Just get in range of my weapon. Oh, I must have missed something there. Oh, yes, yes. You've told me you were a painting instructor before. Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. My partner is, she's always been interested in painting, and, you know, she's done some work for me. You know, just some little things, you know, and it's pretty good stuff, I thought. Just, you know, like watercolor style, something you might see that might come out of Japan, actually. She likes to do flowers and stuff, so. But I've always been more of a sketch artist. You know, and I always thought I was going to be an artist, like, from my childhood. I spent a lot of my time drawing. In fact, some of my first drawings are of, you know, I would try to replicate the official art from this game. Because even after I beat it, I ended up getting the strategy guide because I wanted to have access to all the pictures inside of it. That's a lot of the reasons I would get the strategy guides for games. I had the Banjo-Kazooie one, too. But I had already beaten the game, you know? I really wanted the art. And now we have things like the Hyrule Historia, which are great references and resources. The emptiness says more than the presence, man. You know, he just remembers that memory. The flow of time is always cruel. Its speed seems different for each person, but no one can change it. A thing that doesn't change with time is a memory of younger days. In order to come back here again, play the minuet of the forest. Okay, let's not mess this up. You know, speaking of memories from younger days, yeah, Ketzer says, I drew so many dungeon maps as a kid. Well, what I would do is we'd have these show and tells when we were a kid, and instead of, you know, instead of doing the show and tell, I would just, like, tell people what I did in a video game, you know? I would be like, yes, I'd be like, okay, so we go in the Forest Temple, and I got the key, you know, which was in the left room, and I'd, like, paint, like, a map of what I had done, right? And it just was probably super annoying to my classmates at the time. You know, I was, like, in 5th, 4th, or, no, maybe it was, like, 2nd grade, actually, I think. Yeah, it was when I was doing that, and, just funny stuff. But yeah, those are memories of younger days, and I don't know if it's true that those don't change, right? You know, something about memories is they tend to become amplified or exemplified or put into a sacred place, you know, that gives them a status that they didn't have when they happened. And I think that's kind of what the poem Sheik is talking about, you know, points to, is that the memory of younger days itself may change and become more dramatic or less dramatic, but it becomes this sacred thing, you know? It's like a perfect form that exists in the sacred realm. And I bet you the sacred realm doesn't change over time. I mean, that would kind of go against the whole Platonic theory of forms, if it did. The sacred realm it's sacred because it's set apart from time and set apart from space. Turn around. Yo, you gotta make him spin. But yeah, I've done some art, not too, it was some years ago, you know, I was, it was before I started the channel. I was kind of experimenting with some hallucinogenics, and it got me really into art, and I drew some of the craziest, coolest stuff I've ever sketched. Really interesting stuff, you know, and then I kind of dropped it again, and I've probably lost all the skill I had. It's, you don't lose it all entirely. I think every time I come back to art, it somehow, even though I haven't done it for a while, I have a new understanding of it, and I'm able to take old skills and see them in a new light, so I should give it another whack sometime. I just don't have the time these days, is the sad thing, you know? I just don't have time to do art. I spend a lot of my time studying or, you know, doing the Let's Play or working or cooking dinner, you know, doing the dishes, like just all this stuff. It just, and by the end of my day, I just don't have any time left. All right, there's the sisters. Are we really going to do this dungeon today? I think so. I think we can clear it out. And let's remember, this is a mansion, likely belonging to, or at least associated with these Poe sisters. It's a mansion in the forest. But art's important. It's so good for your mind. And it was one of the main reasons I kept smoking nicotine, is it made my art so damn good. Oh yeah, the music here. Peak. Absolutely peak. Great stuff. I'm glad I have the sound on today, because yesterday I set my settings up wrong and I did not have the sound on. I just like, it's faster to use the big slash, so I just tend to do that a lot. You'll see me do a lot of jump slashes. Come on, buddy. Let's see if I can remember how to do this dungeon too, because it's been some time. I guess it's just been about a year or two since we did the last Let's Play. You know, oh, you know what, I can get some hearts back. And get a fairy. Yeah, it's crazy how far the channel's come in such a short, in that time too. I think I have like 1,000 more subscribers than we had when we started the last Zelda. And my sound was just garbage back then. I was having so much trouble figuring out how to properly set up the sound, you know, and now I kind of have it down. But those were some rough days with the channel. There were a lot of failed recordings. You know, a lot of frustrations with just getting everything right, and even what I was doing with the channel. That's true. You know, that's true, Ketzer, and that was something that I struggled with when I was younger. I thought everything I drew wasn't good enough. I'm telling you, I had a few trash cans full of art that I just threw out. I was like, no. I was like, this is like, I'd draw one line, and then I'd throw it in the trash, be like, this is garbage. And I had a trash can full of those. But you know, one day, after I had moved out of my mother's house, right? Because my parents divorced, and I ended up moving in with my dad at around the age of 14 or so. I found my much younger sister, who's about 6 or 7 years younger than me. I found her going through my drawings that I had crumpled up and thrown away, and she was pulling them out and trying to replicate them. Which, I mean, that touched me so much, because what I thought was what I thought was trash to her was a treasure. And I just thought that was so cool. I thought that was so cool, you know, and it was just one of the sweetest things I think that I experienced from one of my siblings, you know, because I come from just a family of siblings where we basically just fight all the time. I'm sure that's a lot of siblings, you know, but it was nice. That was a nice sentiment. Huh, I wonder what this symbol is here on these blocks. Almost like a representation of duality, you know, like it seems to be two circles connected by this sort of bracket, right? I'm curious what that means. Yeah, one of the things I think that really got me back into art too was I realized I could draw something really messy, like a bunch. You know, I'm a sketcher. I do a lot of sketching, right? I mean, I used to. I don't do a lot of sketching these days, but I did a lot of sketching, and I realized I could make a mess of pencil marks, right? And turn it into something beautiful. You know, you just have to manipulate those marks you made and you know, just find the right way to wangle them around into what you want to make. Ah, perfect. Oh, okay, we need to get the bow. Forgive me if I'm doing this backwards, guys. Feel free to tell me if I forgot a key or if I need to do... I'm down to take advice on the dungeons. I'm not trying to show off here. I really just want to finish the game. And get to the lore bits of it, you know? The lore is really what we're looking at here. Yeah, it seems like a good profession too, an art teacher. Like, that's pretty fulfilling, you know? The arts in general. I mean, I feel like if we could move, like a lot, you know, if we could move past the general labor that's required for most of society, I know a lot of us would, you know, pursue creative endeavors. So if you're already doing that, I feel like you've basically won life. Oh, I just had a gross mint. Need to put something else in my mouth. Do I have the key for that? I wonder. Thanks, Navi, for the eternal advice. Ooh, I know it. And I don't have the key. Right. Okay. We gotta go back. I missed something. This temple I can do. I think I always make this mistake right here specifically. I get the first 2 keys, and then I come over to this area thinking I'm able to do it, but that's not it. You have to go back, and I have to play like the Song of Time. Move some blocks around. I'm gonna put up a schedule too, folks. I know these have kind of been, you know, we've been doing them at about 10 a.m. Eastern time, but I'll put up a schedule. You know, we'll get this sorted out to where people can actually predict when I do this. I might even start streaming it on Twitch too. I have not made the decision yet, really. I don't quite know what I'm doing with it. I don't quite know. But I'm thinking 5 days a week or so. Yeah, I thought you could surprise me. Not gonna happen. Not gonna happen. All right, let's see if I can remember what to do here. I think I need to go up here first. You can't really reach that one, I don't think. You gotta just kind of sneak past him. Maybe. Let's see. No, I got him. Yeah, I don't know why it's so satisfying when you get raised up by the chest like that, but it makes me so happy. I think because you're not supposed to do it or something, I don't know. Ace of Keys, I'll keep that in mind. Do you do some live streams, Ketzer? Or are you live streaming some painting or something like that? Now we're getting somewhere. Woo! I'm just taking the hits. You know, this game could be a little less forgiving. Like, you can really let Link take some damage. Look, this is how you speedrun. You gotta... Oh wait, speed run. We're doing speed run. Speed run. We have a little drainage system under here too. I wonder where the water in this temple's coming from. I mean, probably fed from the same source as, you know, as the rest of Hyrule from the Zora's Domain. Okay, now we're over here. What did I just get? I didn't get a key, did I? No, I did get a key. That was a key. So that key will open the door that I need to open now. Fabulous. Done exactly what we needed to do. Let's go back to that other room. I think we're gonna clear this out in about record time here. At least for me. This one always takes me a while, but I think this time we've got it. So where did I go? I think I was going up through here. Oh, sweet. Well, if you, I'll totally view if you have some, if you put up a Zelda stream, just let me know when you're going to do it. I'll totally at least give you some views and stuff like that. You know, I tend to listen to things while I'm at work. I do driving. You know, I'm a delivery boy now, which I've never done before, but I'm loving it. I have so much time. Like, I just sit in the car, you know, and I'll listen to lectures, podcasts, whatever I need, you know, to help me with the channel. And it's given me a lot of time to do research that I wouldn't be able to do at work. So I can participate in live streams and all that kind of stuff too. So just let me know. Let me know. I'll shoot you a viewer at the very least. I'd love to help my friends out who are starting with recordings and things like that. Like Cam, who I play Fortnite with, he's started a whole Fortnite channel. And he just uploads shorts and just clips of him killing guys, like nothing special really, you know? No dialogue, and he's already netted. He's getting subscribers faster than I am. I put so much work into this, but Cam, he's just like racking up those subscribers for Fortnite, man. But you know, it's a lot of fun to do. Yeah, streaming's pretty difficult to get into. You know, I started out trying to do some streaming, but I didn't see a lot of success, so I went to the episode format, and look, here I am again doing streaming. So, you know, it just goes up and down. You just gotta flow with the tides, I guess. Here we go. You gotta be kind of precise with the shield. He can still hit you with his little curvy sword. There we go. No. His name is it's Tardigrade Games, actually, is what his channel is. It's not very big yet, you know, and he doesn't do a whole lot. He said it was mostly just for him to kind of keep a record, you know, because he plays so much Fortnite. He plays it like every day, and I play with him if I can, but I usually only get to do it on my weekends. So I'm on the channel quite a bit too when he does duos and stuff like that. But he just does it because he wants to keep a record of his victories and things like that, you know, and YouTube's a good storage space for that. You don't have to use it just to get views. You can use it as a video storage website, kind of like Dropbox or something. You know, I always encourage everyone to have some sort of video presence, you know, because, like, I feel like a lot of people, you know, they're always trying to sell themselves online. I mean, who wouldn't want to? I mean, I'm doing it too, you know, I want to make money off of YouTube and stuff like that, but I think it's more important to just get your personality out there, you know, show the world what kind of people are in it, what kind of creative people are in it, you know, especially for historians and stuff like that. Like, when they come back and look at society, they're going to be able to see what people were really like, you know, and if you're any kind of a decent person, like, get your stuff out there, you know, show that humanity's got something worth preserving, right? I don't know, that's some of my philosophy behind it anyway. Also, just about the lore stuff again, guys, we did just get the bow, which is of another artifact of that divine prince, or that divine demigod that I had mentioned at the beginning of this stream. The grandson of Amaterasu, Nino. Hold on, wait, I have it here. Ninigi no Mikoto. Ninigo Mikoto, who is the grandson of Amaterasu and, you know, the great grandfather, basically, of the emperor line of Japan, who carried the sacred mirror, the master sword, or a sacred mirror, a sacred sword, sacred gems, and a divine bow at certain times as well, right? So there's a lot of correlations to Link as a royal figure, at least from the Japanese standpoint, right? There's royalty going on here. And you could even see the relationship between Link and Zelda as a sort of sacred marriage. You know, even though they never have a relationship. I don't know how that goes in the newer games, but they never seem to have any kind of relationship. But Link does seem to be a divine prince or emperor or king, you know, in the guise of a farm boy. He is some sort of royalty, descended from the gods. And it might be that it's necessary for him to start from a place of no power, so that he doesn't end up, you know, from making the same mistakes that Ganondorf makes. Well, I didn't think we were going to get this dungeon done today, but here we are, like, basically halfway through it. I wonder what Navi has to say, actually. Beth, one of the Poe sisters. I'm sitting weird. No, I missed it. I did a backflip instead. Oh, come on. There we go. Dude, the small keys, yeah. I think when I made the old thumbnail for this episode, it might even still be up there when I played this before. I just made the thumbnail a picture of Link throwing bombs at a pile of keys because of how much I hated the small keys. Especially as a child. Like, I was like, oh, now I gotta keep up with this other thing, all these barriers of access to the temple. It makes it a real puzzle, I suppose, though. Okay, and now we're over here. Oh, lordy Lou, what do you do when you don't have a key? This one, no. I'm still looking for the key. I am. Let's see. Isn't there a hole in the ground or something here? That might be later in the dungeon. Okay. Lots of going back and forth. Here we go. Where are you? It's way at the beginning of the dungeon. I know it is. I mean, I guess I have the compass so I can see where the keys are, but I'm just trying to use my memory of the dungeon. I've done this too many times to not be able to find the key. Let's see. I think what I need to do is go back to the first room, maybe. Let's see. Oh, well, might as well grab that. And then jump down here, because it... Yeah, okay, we're getting there. We're getting there. I think things are gonna... Oh, we gotta kill these guys. Yeah, here we go. He was like, what? Ah! He was like, I was just chilling in this room. Can't a hand just be a hand? This might be like record time for me on this dungeon, I swear. I swear this is the fastest I've ever done it. There it is, there's the small key. Okay. Now, where... Ah, my brain. Ah, where was I? Where did I need to use the key? I can't remember now. My brain. It's because I've been doing the stream so long. I usually keep it down to an hour and a half, which we just crossed the hour and a half threshold. So I might be out of juice. I might be out of juice. If I can just get this key, and this, I think it's the last key too, so if I can just get this key, you know, things are gonna work out a lot better for me in the long run. Okay, think. Think, Stink, think. I need to go hit that eyeball again, I think is what I need to do, and go back through the regular tunnel. Yeah, okay, I got it back. I got it back. I got my head on my shoulders. Here we go. Yeah. I do tend to actually give you guys views, since we were talking about earlier. Like, whenever anyone subscribes, you know, I'll go to their account and I'll actually watch a few of their videos, just because, you know, I always want to support other creators and stuff too. And some people have some really cool stuff that have just gotten lost in the YouTube algorithm and aren't just being shown, you know. People are creative. You know, even if it's just like anime music videos, you know, VODs and stuff like that. Like, there's really cool stuff out there that people make that's just, it's buried in the internet, you know, under Mr. Beast and all that other crap that no one wants to watch. But apparently everyone does. All right, we're almost there, guys. We're almost there. Alrighty, and over here, that's just a door, I think. Yeah, when I do this, I kind of like to kill these guys first. Okay. Whatever, you know what, we're just gonna hit the buttons. Woo! Alright, now we got this one too. Okay, we got this. Okay, oh, I had this. Yeah, one of these pieces just doesn't even go with this. Perfect. Show yourself. I don't know, also, this is a haunted house. I feel like that's worth mentioning. Like, a haunted house is the first place that we come across. I really don't know what symbolism we're looking for there, but there's got to be something to it. You know, it's a temple, but it's also a home. Now, why is that? What reason could there be for that? I mean, is it just a creative decision? I don't know. I don't know. It's a home, though. You know, maybe because Kokiri Forest is home. Maybe it's symbolic of Link coming back to his home, and you know, Can I? Oh yeah, I can just climb. Here we go. And that one sister crying, you know, at the death of her other sisters. There's something, I don't know, there's something there. I swear there's something there. There's something deeper, some sort of story that's not being directly told. So if anyone has any ideas about that, I don't know, let me know. There we go, guys. On to the boss. Or maybe they were protecting Ganondorf's spirit. Because there's something sealed away here. It's Ganon's Phantom. Phantom Ganon. I forget the story behind Phantom Ganon. There's something there, too. I have a lot of research to do. I have a whole heap and a lot of research to do. Nice. Okay, this one. No, no, put that away. Put that away. And there we go. On to the boss, folks. Here we go. One of my favorite fights, Phantom Ganon. And, you know, there's a little bit of... Oh, wait, what are these pictures of? Huh, they don't really seem to be of anything at all. Or at least not that I can tell. But this is a leftover piece of what this game could have been, right? Because originally this game was going to be like Super Mario 64, where you traversed a bunch of paintings. So this mansion could actually just be a holdover from the original idea for the original game that they wanted to make this into. I'm glad they expanded it, right? Because it's definitely more expansive than it probably could have been. All right, here we go. Evil spirit from beyond. Like he's from some sort of other realm or something. Is that him? No. No! Ah! He got me. He got me. I gotta pay attention. One of them slightly different colored. Gotcha! Haha! That's how I used to be able to tell the differences. One of them was always a different color. Like slightly, just slightly. Oh. Oh, I missed that one. Woo! I don't know how to tell. I'm really jacking this up. I swear. I'm usually better at this. Okay. Okay, it's got to be one of these two. Gotcha. Yeah, and don't come back. Stay in your bad painting of nothing. Okay, cool, cool. Now we just have to play tennis. Kind of tricky. It doesn't always fly back at him the way you want. Come on, dude. Okay, okay, you get one. You get one. Oh, whoa. Is that a new move? I don't think I've ever seen him do that before. Woohoo! Yes! Ugh. Hey kid, you did quite well. Looks like you might be gaining some slight skill. But you have defeated only my phantom. When you fight the real me, it won't be so easy. What a worthless creation that ghost was. I will banish it to a gap between dimensions. Which is perhaps where Ganondorf himself goes. You know, he seems to get sealed away at the end of the game, and I've always wondered about where that is. You know, I've heard claims that it's the underworld from Shinto, but I'm still not too sure about that. If it is indeed an underworld or some sort of purgatory or something. Oh, it's our old friend Saria. Thank you. Because of you, I could awaken as a sage. I am Saria, the sage of the Forest Temple. Like, she reintroduces herself. We know who she is, but she's attained a transcendental, eternal spirit. You know, this isn't really our friend Saria anymore. Not entirely. We sort of lost her in a way, you know? She's been lost by reestablishing who she was and has always been, not the disconnected thing that she was temporarily. Anyway, I always believed that you would come because I know you. No, you don't have to explain it to me, because it is destiny that you and I can't live in the same world. I will stay here as the forest sage and help you. Now please take this medallion. You know, and Link first lost her when he left Kakariko Village, or the Kokiri Forest. And now he's lost her again, because she's come to this place that's untouched by reality, you know. She's divine. It's a loss for Link. He's destined to lose everything. Really loss. A lot of loss is what defines Link's journey. You know, and eventually he loses everything, even himself, and is reborn into like a new generation, which I think is very profound, and we're going to touch on that a lot near the end of the game, the concept of this regeneration. In fact, look, here it is, another symbol of that regeneration. Just like the Deku Tree is lost, a new generation comes. Oh, I think I saw Link's camel toe there. Because you and Saria broke the curse on the Forest Temple, I can grow and flourish. Thanks a lot. Almost like an Elden Ring and Dark Souls style thing, the curse was preventing true regeneration, true progress. Link's been sealed away 7 years, but the universe hasn't been allowed to grow. Only Link has. Hey, have you seen your old friends? None of them recognized you with your grown-up body, did they? That's because the Kokiri never grow up. Even after 7 years, they're still kids. You must be wondering why only you have grown up. Well, as you might have already guessed, you're not a Kokiri. You are actually a Hylian. I am happy to finally reveal the secret to you. Some time ago, before the King of Hyrule unified this country, there was a fierce war in our world. One day, to escape from the fires of war, a Highland mother and her baby boy entered this forbidden forest. The mother was gravely injured. Her only choice was to entrust the child to the Deku Tree, and the Deku Tree could sense this was a child of destiny, whose fate could affect the entire world, so he took him into the forest. After the mother passed away, the baby was raised as a Kokiri, and now finally the day has come. And this is the first time we're told of this great war that happened before this game started. All right, folks. So we'll return to the Temple of Time when we play next time. But I'm exhausted, so thanks for joining, everybody. I'll see you on the next stream. It might not be tomorrow. It's my day off, and I have a bunch of other stuff to do, so we'll see if we get around to it. If we do, that's cool. If we don't, I'll set up a schedule at least for when the next one will be. So I'll see you guys then.